Hey YouTube, how you guys doing today? Kevin here, coming back at you with another video. Well, I'm sitting there going, alright, what can I do? How can I do this? What can I make this work? Alright, so I'm going to still do the crank bearings on that other motor, but chrome on black. Wow. I'm sitting there thinking to myself last night, I said, Kevin, don't put these chrome pieces on that gray motor. Put them on a black engine. Makes it look so much better. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to use this engine right here. This is a 2001 KE100, and I'm just going to go ahead and check and make sure all the screw holes and everything are all set. Now, one of the things I wanted to show you guys, and I know it was pretty miffed a lot about it. Let me put something under it to hold it up, hold up the engine. On our original side cover that came off the KE100 motor, uses 3 screw holes. You can see that 1, 2, and then that third one right there. And then this one has some extra holes. I wanted to show you guys this. So I put this cover on. Okay, so now you have these extra 2 screw holes. Now those bosses, they call it a boss, that's what the screw goes into, or some people call it ears. They're actually there. They probably filled up with a little bit of crap and junk, but they're all on there. So you'll literally be able to use all the screws that came off the motor. You'll have to get a couple more, but you can see how I'm doing this. The other thing that's cool about this cover is you have all this extra real estate here. You can literally cut this down and make it contour the engine. You don't have to keep all this extra material back here. So you can really dress this side cover up right here and make it look really, really sharp. So I wanted to put that out there and show you guys. That's pretty cool. Now this is a good engine. This is a good lower end. It's got a great crank. Everything's good on it. But I'm thinking to myself, how cool would that be to kind of hot rod this motor? I mean, make it look really, really spiffy. That's a nice looking cover right there. Put that on that motor. It's going to really spot, you know, look at it. Look how nice it fits. So I'm looking at it and I'm going, The whole engine is clean. I mean, you can see right where the crank is. This thing is beautiful. The crank spins over nice and freely. There's no issues with the crank bearings. Everything, seals are all good. It's all good. This engine is not going to get the whatchamacallit there. This engine is not going to get the tachometer drive, but it is still pretty darn cool. So I'm looking at it, I'm like, you know what? This would be a great donor to put all that chrome clutch cover and stuff on. You know what I mean? You guys can see it right there where I'm going with this. And then have the big airbox. So I think this is the engine right here that I decided last night. It was kind of a spur of the moment type thing that I decided to do. I'm like, you know what? It's a perfect donor for it. This is a 2001, and we're going to put on some really cool shiny pieces. We can clean up that motor really nicely. In fact, hold on one second. A really good cleaner with the WD-40. You can see how nice it's making the motor look. see it. I'll show it here. Yeah, WD-40's been, I use WD-40 as a cleaner. It does a really, really good job cleaning. It doesn't lift paint. And the nice thing about WD-40, a lot of people don't realize, is when you're using a wire brush, a brass wire brush, it really stands out. I just cleaned up this area right here. And you can see how nice it looks. So what you're actually looking at is the black, how nice it looks with the chrome. I think it's going to be pretty sharp. I think it's going to be really, really sharp. And then, of course, you don't have to keep all this extra material. In fact, you can cut that back if you wanted to cut it back, make it contour. You can do all kinds of cool stuff with this cover. It's really, really cool. And then we'll put the other cover on the other side. Switch it out, and then boom. So, I figured I'd show you guys what I was thinking about doing. I really like the black and the chrome. Really, really stands out. And then, of course, it's just a matter of taking off this clutch cover, putting that on, and then bam, you know. That's just going to look really, really cool, I think. So we'll get that done. And then I can take the other crank out of the other one. Like I said, I want to do the crank bearings on the other motor. That one, the other half is on the bench over there. I'm going to go put that in the dip later on, let that clean, and go from there. So, pretty cool. Alright, so now that part is over and done with, alright, we'll get the, what do you call it there? Get that part done, alright. So, I had Peter's carburetor in the cleaner, looking nice and clean in there. See how nice and clean on top. So, that came out pretty nice. Really, really happy with the inside. Look at that, huh? Here you go, Peter. That's how your carbs are coming out. Came out really nice and clean. Put those and move those over here. And then, while that was all said and done, I'm going to move this motor. Get this right out of here for a minute. Okay. Now, guys, we have a top secret build that we're going to be building. My wife, luckily, doesn't watch my channel because she's not into these type of things, which is good. So we have a top secret. I'm going to build my wife that Chaffee. I'm going to build that for her so she can have a bike to ride. So we'll build that bike for her so she'll have her own little bike. Now my wife is a small woman. She's only 4'11". She's not very tall, and she always says, I couldn't ride a bike because I'm not coordinated. Okay, alright, fair enough. And so it's got handbrakes on it for the front and back brakes, and it's automatic, so, and it hauls butt. So it's a 50cc, so I figured that would be great for her. And the bike is a cool looking bike. It needs a little bit of cosmetic work, but, you know, we'll throw a seat on that. We're going to build that up for the wife. So, in here, I let soak was the carburetor. I took the carburetor off the other day. Man, was it cold. -8 degrees this morning, guys. -8. So, I gotta tell you guys a funny story real quick. So, we had a 6-pack of Mountain Dew in the back seat of the car. So, I opened up the car door this morning. It looked like a windshield had shattered. There was ice all over everything. One of the cans had exploded into the car. So, luckily, it was all little chunks of ice about this big, so I was able to sweep it all up before it melted all over the dashboard and everything else. But, oh my God, guys, I thought someone broke the window. So anyway, I figured I'd share that little story with you guys. So in here, we have the carburetor that was soaking. I put the carburetor from the Chaffee in here. Now the carburetor was not looking too healthy, so I hopefully this dip right here. Let me tell you guys a little a difference between an ultrasonic and a chem dip. Okay, an ultrasonic cleaner will take the finish off of a carburetor. Okay, it'll take all the chrome off and everything. You'll see all the copper, and the zinc. You know, with a chem dip like this right here, you can leave it in there for days, and it's just gonna work better. You know what I mean? So I wanted to share that with you. This stuff right here is room temperature, and it's not a harsh chemical. It's more of an oily base, if anything. So when we come out, typically what I find is they come out better looking than they go in. So I'm going to actually put my hands in it. Let me go see if I can find a rubber glove. If I have a rubber glove, I can put a rubber glove on. Can I reach in there with that? So I'm not so messy. You know, I don't want to be messy. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to be messy. Got a rubber glove. My surgical procedures. See if I can reach in there and pull that out. I'm going to get a rag. Now this is sat in there for over 24 hours. I want to say closer to maybe 35, maybe. Okay, I got the carburetor right here. This carburetor was looking wretched. Wretched. Should have got 2 rubber gloves, but I didn't. Still a lot of crud in the bowl. And I'm going to show you guys a little secret that I did on this chem dip. Okay. Well, the jets all look good. Floats are actually moving. They weren't even moving. Alright, so I got the carburetor out. Let's get you guys focused in down here. Remember guys, this is top secret. Wife's not even going to know about this. This bike is going to be built for her. Alright, so I'm going to teach you guys a little trick that I did. I started doing this, it just kind of came to me. I was sitting there going, geez, I'm always putting the bowl in. Every time I put the bowl in the dip or in the ultrasonic cleaner, it kind of floats away like the Titanic. Carburetor goes one way, the bowl goes the other, and then, you know, yeah, hunting and fishing all around. Where's the bowl? Where's the bowl? And then it's all over you. You're covered. So what I started to do is I started to take the 2 screws and screw the carburetor bowl onto the carburetor backwards. Use 2 of the same mounts and just flip it around. Screw it onto it. That way, when you put this in, it's all one piece. How can you go wrong with that? So, and then it's just as easy to take it apart. Just unscrew the 2 screws. And I don't put them on there super tight, you know. Snug them up a little bit. There we go. Okay. Everything seems to be moving pretty well. I'm going to get a rag. In fact, when I took the slide and the needle out, it actually looked like brand new. There was nothing wrong with it at all. And I was very impressed with that. I said, geez, that's pretty good. I've never had the floats. In fact, when I had this, before this was in the dip, I know you guys didn't see it, but you couldn't even move the float. The float was just solid. So let's see if we take the float out. Get all the screws out of it. Yeah, I still can't move the pen. The pen is still seized in there. Let me try using my little float tap hammer. See if I can tap the... Oh, it moved. Well, that is a good sign. And then, of course, let me see if I can find a nail, which I already have from the last one I did. And see if we can tap that pin out without breaking it. And voila. Pin is out. Now, I do a lot of carb talk videos, and I don't really touch base on this right here, so I want to talk to you guys about this. Sometimes on this shaft, you'll see little wear spots from where the pivot, where it pivots onto it. If you have a wear spot on this pin, that can offset your float and can cause it to bind, and can also cause your carb to leak. So keep in mind, check your pin. Make sure the pin is solid all the way through. When you rub your fingernail on it, you should not feel any grooves. If you don't have no grooves, you have a good carburetor. Now this float's been soaking. Shake it back and forth and make sure that the pontoons have no liquid in them at all. Okay? Gently wipe them down. Do not put pressure on them because you can dent them. These are good float. I call these pontoons. When I refer to the pontoons, I'm referring to these, the float. Okay? The solid ones I don't call pontoons, but these ones I do. This float right here looks a little slightly bent, so I'm going to show you guys how to check your float. Put it on a level surface. Okay? This one's not really a level surface, but I'm just doing this for this reason. With it on a flat, straight, level surface, you're going to look right down here and see if you can see any light. If you can see light at an angle, you can simply twist your pontoons. So let me see if I can find something I can put this on and show you what I'm talking about. Because I like to show you guys more than explaining it. Alright, sorry about the shakiness. So, alright. So right now you're looking at the pontoons. See this piece right here? That's where your float pin goes in. If these pontoons are bent or twisted, what will happen is it'll lift up on one end. And you'll have it, see like that gap underneath right there? It'll be like that. If it's like that, you need to twist your pontoons so they're level. And that both pontoons and this is level. Okay, and that's how you level a float. Make sure the float is level because I've seen them, I've had them come in where the two pontoons are touching, and then you can see light through one side over here, but right over here was touching. This all needs to be perpendicular, nice and level, okay? Make sure your pontoons are not twisted, they're sitting level, and there's no gap underneath. That's very important because if you're over there and you're adjusting the float to this pontoon over here, and this one right here is up or down, it's going to throw the whole thing off. So you got to start off by leveling your float. I don't really touch base on that. I keep forgetting to touch base on that with you guys. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make sure I do that on this video. So make sure your pontoons are level. It's very important. And sometimes if you have... one of the main reasons why they come unadjusted is the needle and seat will be stuck. And you'll be trying to free it up. And you'll only be moving. You subconsciously, you don't realize you're doing it. But you're moving one pontoon, the other one's stuck, and then all of a sudden you twisted them, and now they're cocked at an angle. Okay? So keep that in mind when you're doing that. Okay, got the needle right here. Now, another thing you're going to look for, okay, this is going to be hard to see. On this needle right here, see how nice and shiny it is? Sometimes there'll be a groove worn into it from hitting the seat so many times. Sorry about my fingernails. I got all kinds of crap on me from working on this stuff. But anyway, we've all been there. So feel it. Make sure there's no... You're not catching it. It's nice and smooth. And then the other thing you're looking for is the spring on the end here. Make sure you can move it in. See, I can't even move this one. Okay? I can't even move it. So, that's an issue. Okay, that means that this pin is not going to have the detent on it. Sometimes, if you're lucky, you can use a pair of pliers. Grab it as close as you can. Gently twist back and forth. Okay, just keep working it back and forth. Don't go in one direction, go back and forth. And then you'll start to feel it go around and around. Now I can twist it. Okay, you're not pulling, you're just twisting it. Okay, now it feels free to me. Now we'll try pushing in again. Look at that, guys. Now it's moving in and out. Okay? I know my nails are gross. I've been working on crap. I gotta cut my nails. Embarrassing. But I am a mechanic. It's my life. So, push in and out like that. Okay? Now I have a good needle that's usable. And you shouldn't have the part that sticks out, the little plunger there. It should not stay in. If it stays in, that's a problem. You want to have good spring tension. Alright, so then you're looking at your main jet and your pilot jet. You should be able to see light through these with the body, with the slide off. So when your slide is out and your needle is out, you should be able to see light through there. So I'm going to have to blow this out and see if I have light through those jets. Okay, looking in the throat, you can see light through both jets. See the big one in the middle? And then if you're looking, let's see if I can point to you. Okay, let me see if I can get this to you. So up, I'm going to put this through the hole this way and show you. Right, see where the blade is on the screwdriver? I'm going to poke that through so you can see it better right there. See that little hole that's right next to it? That little tiny hole? That is your pilot jet. And then this big one right here, that is your main jet. Those two need to be free. So take a flashlight. And you can see I got light through both of them. That means both jets are clear. Okay? Moving on to the next part. Now, here is the float bowl. Okay, that's the float bowl. Let me get this screw out of here, if I can. Okay. This one has a lot of crud in it. That's not good stuff. That right there is the stuff that clogs up those jets. And then see that hole right there? That hole goes into the shaft right here. That's for your choke. So when you pull your choke, it creates a suction and sucks fuel directly from the bowl up that tube through the jet and then into your carburetor. So clearly, see how there's liquid in the top but nothing coming out the bottom? That right there is clearly clogged. So I have to clean that out. Oftentimes what I use to clean that out is a hook from a ornament. You know, a Christmas ornament. Boom. For a lot of people don't have ornaments or don't celebrate Christmas. I know there's people on this channel who are from all over the world and don't celebrate the same things that we do. Take a piece of wire, strip it down, and use one of the thin blades of wire. You can use that too. So keep that in mind. And then you can just basically scrape out all the guck, all the crud. You can see how it's coming out pretty thick. So what I do is I scrape it out and then I'm going to let it sit. I'm going to let it soak again inside there. What you're actually looking at is water. Water got into it at some point. Hadn't made it past the carburetor, but water got into the carburetor. Maybe they left the fuel cap off, bad fuel, whatever the case may be. So I'm just going to scrape it all down. I don't sandblast them. There's really no point in that. You can. I don't recommend it because you get the sand buildup in your jets, and then it all goes through your carburetor, and then your carburetor and engine are junk. But once you get it all broken up like that, I clean it out best I can with a rag, WD-40, whatever you got for a cleaner. A lot of crud in that. I need to get a lot of parts and pieces for the motor, for the bike. I mean, nothing too dramatic. I gotta get brakes, headlight. So I'm gonna have a shopping list of parts on that. But I kind of want to get the bike up and running before Mother's Day. The bike itself is in excellent condition. It needs an exhaust. It needs all kinds of stuff. I've been looking online. I found a whole bunch of cheap stuff on eBay. So we'll see how it goes. I can't do too many builds all at the same time, you know. But for the wife, she's the one who allows me to do all this. And when I mean allows, I mean doesn't give me permission or anything like that. But she helps me out quite a bit. So I think it'd be good to have a nice build for her. So, okay. So I got this thing pretty well scraped out. I'm going to let it sit more in the cleaner. I'll let that sit for another 24 hours. Not the carburetor. The carburetor itself is good. I think just this right here. I think now I'm scraping out all the crud. Got a lot of it out. And get that needle right there to be cleaned out a little bit better. Yeah, cleaned out that little hole right there. Just use a little screwdriver. Just put it in there, twist it around a little bit. Just a jet in there, that's all it is. And yeah, it's not going down. So, it's not going down. But we'll get it. I've had worse than that. Alright, so what I'm going to do with this one now, that is in that situation, I'm going to put that there, move this over. Like I said, the carburetor itself was in excellent condition. I mean, external looked good. The floats didn't look all that bad. When I took it apart, it looked like it's been sitting for about, I'm going to say, a few months with the water in it. So it hasn't like it's been sitting for years with it. So I really can't complain. So what I'll do is I'll put this right here in the liquid, let it sit. So I'm going to take a string, tie a string to it. Just like so. And dip it in. Make it so I can. Okay. Just leave that in there like so. Can sit for another 24, 48 hours, whatever. And then when I get to it, I get to it. Okay. So, now back on this. You might notice how I didn't take off any of the, I didn't remove the jets, any of them. I didn't pull apart anything. The reason for that is because typically, when things sit in water, they get corroded. And it takes a while for the corrosion part to wear off. So when they sit in a dip or a cleaner, ultrasonic cleaner, I then normally typically take them apart after the fact and do that. Because if I tried taking it apart first, what typically happens is they just strip out and snap, and then I'm into a whole big mess. Yeah, so I'm not even going to... I got light through them. I'm good. So anyway, guys, I'm going to end it now. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe. Thank you for all your support. And I really appreciate doing these videos. Hope you guys learned something. A little trick with the floats. And when I get the carburetor bolt out, we'll finish going through this carburetor. I'm not going to go through it without you guys. So I have a lot more to talk to you about on this carburetor. So we're going to end it here, and then we'll do the second video when the float bowl is done. Anyway, guys, thank you for hanging out, and I'll talk to you guys later.